Hi, my name is Annie Miller. I am the owner of Salon 77 West and also a stylist on Vagaro. Today on Try This, I am going to be doing a balayage touch-up with a focus on root tapping. So this is our model Devin, and what I'm going to be starting off with on her today is basically just bringing up her lightness on her ends. As you can see in the back here, a lot of her blonde has grown out. She has been maintaining with balayage and highlighting services in between her ombre. So as you can see, her mid-shaft through her ends are pretty light up top and on the sides. So we're just gonna really focus on getting this back lightened so that when she wears her hair in the front, all this is translating as light as well as what's going on with the sides and the top. So for Devin, I'm actually going to take slices because I'm wanting a lot of coverage. I am wanting to obviously have a beautiful blend from the dark into the light, which is the meaning of ombre. And so the way that I do that is I go through and tease the hair. And then I use my blur brush as well to make sure that I get the most blending possible. So I stagger my lightener, make sure that everything is saturated, and then I go back through with my blur brush and just really soften this line right here, which the teasing already did, but this is going to ensure that blend even more. I also use full sheets of foil, which help you move up the head much quicker because you don't have to do it in two sections. And I am just going to lay my next section right on top of this foil. Using full sheets of foil really made a difference in my timing so that I'm only doing one section across the head rather than two. I do feel like it cut my time in half as far as my back section. Okay, so now that I have lightened her ends in the back, I am gonna move to the sides. As you can see, her ends on the sides are really blonde and beautiful. So I'm just gonna bring up some of her balayage pieces, which are those outgrown pieces, up through the top. And I'm going to do that with just a few foils along her part. So I am going to be weaving these sections. I don't want there to be as much coverage as on the ends because we are still going from darker to light. We're just bringing some of these blonde pieces up and infusing them into her roots. Another thing that helps getting a good blend is but once you get closer to the root to go upwards with your brush because it's easier for your hand to take pressure off of the hair. So I always feather up with my brush and then I still go through with my blur brush and just blur that line. The trick to a perfect ombre and balayage is absolutely the placement and how well the colors are blended and infused to each other, which is why I tease and work up with my brush and then use my blur brush on top of it. So now I am just going to continue my foils like so until I have covered her whole area around her part. And then we will let her sit for about 20 to 25 minutes before we rinse and get into the root tapping and toning process. Okay, so she is finished processing and now we are going to rinse and start our toning and root tapping process. So I just finished drying Devin and we actually are really happy with the tone that the bleach lifted to naturally. So I am going to dilute my toner formula with clear. I am still going to use the 9P and the 9V to counteract some of this warmth. And I just want to show you, so all those techniques that I used for blending the line from dark to light, as you can see. We got a really pretty blend in there. There aren't any harsh lines. And then through here, where we kind of moved up as I got towards the top, then I switched over to balayaging, which are these pieces that you're seeing kind of infused up through her dark, up to the roots. So what we're going to do with the root tap is we're going to make her roots darker, and we're going to bring the root down a little bit, which will, blend in some of these highlights. I went a little bit high with some of them, so the root tap will cover that, and we'll darken to about here. So the root tapping is going to make her more of a rooted blonde. So she's going to be rooted, and then balayage through here, and then as you can see, her ends are solid blonde, which is that ombre technique. So I'm going to mix my toner, and then I will meet you guys back at the bowl. So now I'm going to mix the root tap formula, which again is Shades EQ by Redken, and I am mixing a 3N with just a drop of 1B, which I know sounds really dark, but her roots are actually virgin hair. So whenever you're putting a semi-color over virgin hair, it tends to be a couple shades lighter than what the actual pigment is. So that's why I'm going that dark. Now I'm going to apply the root tap formula at the bowl just as I would a root touch-up. Okay, so I am going to use my favorite leave-in conditioner, which is Bumble & Bumble's Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. It is detangling and heat protecting, as well as moisturizing, and has repairing agents in it. It is also a primer for all of my other products, so it does equalize the hair's porosity, so all of my other products will fill in evenly. Okay, so earlier when I talked about maintaining this type of service, we did talk about the refresh appointment. And during that appointment, we like to tone, deep condition, and just skim the ends of the hair just to keep them full and healthy. So I'm just going to do a skim on Devin's ends before we blow dry. Okay, so this is our end result with Devin. As you can see, her ends are all solid blondes now, and that toner really cooled down some of that warmth that was going on. Her balayage is now freshened up, and you can see the effect of that root tap. So it already looks like she's grown out a little bit. She's got that lived-in color. I'm loving the tone on her. Again, I used 9P and 9V in shades, and we did dilute it to keep this brightness. And we're really happy with the way that it turned out. I'm also going to turn Devin around so you guys can see all the work that we did in the back. So right now I am showing you the ombre technique that we did, and how we got that nice blend between dark to light with our blur brush and our teasing techniques. As you can see, all of her ends are blonde, which is the traditional ombre technique. And then as we move up towards the head are her balayaged highlights. Just as far as styling, I curled everything with a 1-inch curling iron and just kind of flattened the ends with my flat iron to give it more of that beachy wave look. If you enjoyed this tutorial, like and comment below. Let us know what you want to see in the next video as well. You can subscribe to this channel and follow our blog. To get this look, book a professional on Vagaro.com.